Okay then, right, I'm going to show you guys how to get started with Photoshop. It's probably going to be one of the most exciting things you've ever seen in your entire life. So the first thing you do is go to the Apple start icon at the bottom left hand corner of your screen and you will find Photoshop. If you can't find Photoshop there, then hopefully you did the first task of organizing your files, and in your documents folder on your computer you will find a file called Adobe Photoshop which will automatically open it. Otherwise you can type in the search bar here and look for Photoshop, or you can type in Creative Cloud. Or there is even a link on the desktop to the Adobe Creative Cloud which will allow you to then open the respective applications. So I am now just opening Photoshop, and like the rest of you I'll probably have to wait for this little blue circle to go round, and you can see that Photoshop's opening right now. There is various information there, for example when Photoshop started and who the artwork on the right hand side is by. So this particular piece of artwork that gets updated every now and again is by an artist called Vanessa. You don't need to know that, it's not important whatsoever, so just ignore it. Okay, so the first thing that Photoshop does is it opens up with certain things that I've done before. So this is an example of a document that I saved called Photoshop when I was demonstrating how you guys can save just a blank piece of paper as a document. When you're getting started with Photoshop, that is the first thing you need to do. You need to click Create New and then decide what size of digital paper you would like to work with. So if you want the standard sizes, click Print on the top here and then click on A4. Leave the resolution by default as 300 pixels per inch, or some people know that as DPI. And if you want to, you can make your background contents transparent. That can be quite useful if you're creating, for example, a logo and you wish to save it but you don't want the background to be white. So I'm going to keep it transparent anyway, because when I create it, and I've just clicked create, now the one thing that I didn't do in that step is I didn't give it a file name. So if you look at this tab up here, it's still called Untitled1. Now because I don't want to keep the default, I'm going to go to File and Save As, and I'm going to click Save on my computer, and I'm going to call it Photoshop Start, and I'm going to click Save. And this is going to be my introduction to using Photoshop. So the first thing I want to do is open a photo. Now in Photoshop you don't actually import photos or any of that kind of language. What you'll need to get used to is the idea of opening pictures in Photoshop in order to put them onto this, what I would call canvas. Okay, so you've got an A4 piece of digital paper here. If you want to put a photo on that, the best way to do it is start by collecting all the photos that you wish to use, okay, and then saving them as actual photos. So if you're Googling images, let's say I want to Google an image of Drake, for example. Because I'm in love with Drake. If I click on images, if I want to find any images that are copyright free, I can go into my tools and I can go to usage rights and I can click Creative Commons. That will show me all the licenses that are all the photos that are allowed to be shared, or photos that people have created, like this icon and stuff like that. So if I want to say take this image of Drake, it's Creative Commons, so it can be used for fair use for sharing. If I want something that's totally copyright free, I can click on here and go commercial and other licenses, and then I can find that. Similarly, you can also search for any color type of image, GIFs, clip arts, sizes, all the rest of it. Let's say I want this image of Drake on my collage. What I would start to do is collecting the images. So if you right click on an image, you usually get this option to save image as. Then you would need to start putting that in a folder. Now I don't want Drake's image to be in the same place as the image of me there, so I'm going to click New Folder. I'm going to call it Collage Assets. If you guys have got a year 10 folder, you can put it into there as well, or if you've got a folder that it would be good in, obviously organize all your stuff. But Collage Assets is what I'm going to call it, and then save that image. Back in Photoshop, I then need to go File and open the image, and I will find it in a folder. Obviously I've got lots of documents in my documents, so I need to scroll down to the folder I've just created. Now I've organized my documents in date modified. Okay, so that's quite useful if you're trying to look for the last thing that you saved, okay? But yeah, if I go into pictures, click on that folder, open the picture of Drake. Now the picture of Drake is opening in a separate tab. So you can either drag that to the side so you can see your actual canvas here, and you then need to, if you want to put this image on that canvas, you'd have to select the image, or you can select a certain bit of it. So this is your selection tool, the little box. So if you draw a selection around it, then you can either go to the edit menu and click copy, or you'll see next to all of these commands is the shortcut. So Control C is, so if you press Control C or click that copy button, then click onto your canvas. So let's get rid of Drake, just press the minimize button, click onto my canvas, press Control V or go up to this menu and press edit and paste, but the shortcut is Control and V. So if I press Control and V, Drake comes on there. Now because the resolution of that image is quite small, when it goes onto a 300 dpi resolution canvas, it looks small. I can make it bigger though by pressing Control and T, which is the shortcut for, if we look along here, free transform, and again there's the shortcut next to it where the command is. It gives you these boxes, so you can then move that to make the image bigger or smaller. Okay, when you've done the transformation, double click on it and it'll go back to normal. If the image is ridiculously pixelated, then go back to Google and go to your search criteria and make sure that you choose size large. That way all of the images you're looking at will be large, and that doesn't look like Drake, unless Drake's really let himself go. But yeah, you'll see down here there's numbers, look, 1554 by 2072. That's dots or pixels per inch, okay? So obviously on a 300 dpi collage, this particular picture of Drake, which I'm going to save again, so always try and save your assets into a folder called assets, and then click onto Photoshop. You can also, if you've got the actual photo, right click on it, click copy image, go to Photoshop, go to your canvas, and then just press Control V and paste. Okay? And you know, I think you can all agree that this collage of Drake before and after surgery is obviously mind-blowing. Anyway, that's how you start. Finally, before you finish off, you need to save your image. That will be saved as a .psd file, which is a Photoshop document. If you want to save it as an actual image, you would need to either click on the Save As option and use this drop-down menu to choose, for example, JPEG. If it's got transparency that you want to keep, then choose PNG. Okay, but if I save that as a JPEG now, then that will be a proper enclosed image. If I check in my documents folder, you can now see that I have got a folder with all my college assets in, and I've also got an image, a JPEG image, which is those two images collaged together, and it's opened it in Paint, and there it is. Okay, I hope that helps.